Magandang araw. Good day, everyone. I'm Dr. Paul Filomeno. Uh, I'm a practicing physician with a specialty training in addiction and recovery medicine po. So, I currently practice in Makati and Manila, and I'm currently a consultant in the Philippine General Hospital. So, napapanahon po ang invited lecture niyo sa akin kasi over the years, I've seen a massive shift of what addiction looks like in a lot of my patients, most especially uh, yung mga kabataan ngayon, no. Um, kung titingnan natin ang salitang addiction, hindi na natin siya mako-confine lang sa mga substances o yung mga bagay, no, na nakakalulong or substances na nakakalulong. We are talking about actually a shift to a silent epidemic happening right inside our smartphones, no. I've titled this lecture No More Bets kasi we need to start framing gambling not merely as a financial mistake, no? Itong paglalaro ng sugal sa cellphone or sa online gaming, but as a critical um, addiction issue. And in my clinical practice, no, talagang devastating ito. And this has been documented to have already caused a lot of heartaches and already family dysfunction after um, its widespread use 2 years ago. So I've noticed that it's almost like a new normal in the gambling industry that they have shifted also to a digital platform. It used to require effort, no, for is a person na gustong magsugal. You'll need to go to a physical casino or a local sabungan, no, kung may intent ka. However, now, interestingly, because of its ease with your money inside your e-wallet, it became almost like a frictionless, meaning napaka-smooth ng experience when you want to at least use your money to gamble, no? You can place a bet while sitting actually in a classroom or a university office, no? Even in the library, it could be very, very subtle. So, however, one thing with gambling is that yung accessibility is the thing that makes it very, very dangerous. According to a recent Philippine Senate hearing, they've sounded the alarm on a crisis. Most especially, there were already deaths, as in documented students calling out help for gambling disorder. And we are actually seeing the extreme tragic fallout of this. So just recently, actually, we've heard about the local news covered the heartbreaking story of a 22-year-old student in neighboring Benguet who took his own life due to a very, very high amount of gambling na utang. So as a public health physician also, I can actually tell you that this is no longer an issue. No? Basically, hindi na siya parang um, rare na condition. It's actually a widespread public health concern. And to understand the science, no, I want to share a case based on um, a handful of college students I've treated. So let's call him Mark, no, for example. So Mark is a 20-year-old university student, and like many of you, he loves basketball or some sort of sports. Itong si Mark, one evening, he and his dormmates decided to put a small wager on NBA game using an e-wallet app. So it's like a sports bet. And just to make game more thrilling, no? Mark actually during that time won 2,000 pesos that first week. However, in his mind, no, he didn't just win money. He discovered actually a possible bang pwede ko ba tong ikayaman? Para bang life hack into getting rich easy. So but medically speaking, that initial win is often the most dangerous kasi ito yung nag-unlock ng trigger sa isang first-time gambler. So it sets off a chemical reaction that the brain will try to find and parang find ways na ma-experience yung yun ulit. So why do smart students actually get hooked into gambling? Let's look at the brain. When Mark won his first bet, his brain released a massive flood of pleasurable chemical we know as dopamine. So may isang neural circuit, may circuitry sa utak natin that's in charge with pleasure. So since dopamine is a very pleasurable hormone, It tells the brain na parang, that's good, no? I want to experience that again. And I remember one of my patients asking me why he couldn't stop, no? I had to explain that in the criteria for gambling disorders, no, that the thing that we refer to when classifying a patient kung meron talaga siyang gambling problem, um, it's almost like the criteria is similar to a patient, no, suffering also with an addiction to a certain substance, for example, alcohol. And actually, there are already studies that even in brain scans, meaning internal studies of the brain, makita natin that there are very, very similar pathways and similar anatomical um, semblance that the brain of a gambler or a patient who is gambling is almost similar to those who also is consuming substances. So in a way, going back to our patient, Mark's brain was being actually biologically rewired to eventually patronize gambling and bet over and over. And this is fascinating kasi um, makita mo na parang similar talaga yung trend, yet very destructive, no? Sa totoong buhay, kapag tin-translate mo yon, the concept of addiction medicine that we call a near-miss effect, or what Filipinos lovingly call as muntik na, no, yun yung nag-fuel, meaning the feeling of almost winning makes you want to do it over and over. So if Mark bets on a game and his team loses by just 1 point, he doesn't actually feel defeated, no? It gives him hope, even though he lost money. And neurologically, a near miss will actually still release the same amount of dopamine. So same pleasurable. So meaning masarap pa rin sa pakiramdam nila despite of the loss. And so they feel that they're enjoying the game, they're benefiting from the game, yet they're already losing more and more money. And app developers know this, casino developers know this, and that's why their applications flash bright colors and play celebratory sounds when you actually technically lose money. So they're actually just parang reframing that addictive cycle over and over. So I'm handling a wide range of age group, no? I'm also a pediatrician and I handle a lot of young adults, no, and adolescents. And this slide actually most importantly for college students. The question is, why are you specifically at risk? Bakit kaya ang mga bata ay or younger patients ay at risk? There are certain neurological and neurobiological, meaning a predisposition to that. Suffice to say, ang pinakamadaling explanation nito is that the brain will only develop completely at age 25. And during that window period, no, at the time before 25, anything um, that demand, no, impulse control, no, mahihirapan yung isang estudyante or bata, no? Yung brake system ng brain, therefore, is weaker compared to an adult. And also, they have higher reward sensitivity, meaning mas mataas ang thrill seeking. So all of this combined makes makes an adolescent more susceptible to developing gambling disorder. Balikan natin si Mark. Let's check on Mark and in his case, no, yung predictability, yung the beginner's luck eventually would fade, as with a lot of algorithm will do. No, initially ipapanalo ka and eventually sunod-sunod yung losing streak niya. However, instead of walking away, interestingly, because yung brain niya was so used to want dopamine through the game or through the gambling platform, he needed to chase the losses, meaning in a way he is being deceived na okay, I still need to play kahit talo na ako para lang mabawi ko. And so it spirals down, no? Initially, you're enjoying, yet you're losing money. And then when you almost lose everything, no, you're still compelled to play because of this phenomenon of wanting to chase losses. So, ano nang next, no? Borrowing money in order na may pangtaya at may pambawi dun sa nawala. But it doesn't get better after that. It will eventually get worse. So I remember a patient who did this exact same thing, no? Nangutang, the pressure actually picked on him, and just like our patient here, um, kinailangan nilang ibenta yung mga personal belongings nila. One of my patients already sold his shoe collection and a lot of his gadgets already. So Mark, our case here, fell victim to what we call the illusion of discarte. Akala natin we can control or we can actually outwit the platform, but that is actually a false belief, no? So a true and parang college students think that this is actually, oh, baka pwedeng ito na lang yung gawin ko kaysa mag-work or parang mag-aral ng mabuti to get a better job, no? However, again, this is the deception of gambling, no? Remember that the true hustle will always rely on your skill, your intelligence, and your hard work. So betting apps are built on complex algorithms that is actually designed to extract your money. So always recognize that reality, that gambling platforms and the gambling applications are not really into your side. Actually, hindi mo sila kakampi. No, when you play their game, the intention of the game is to extract money from you and not, parang consider all of your life's choices. You need iPhone, and eventually, this is what we call a cognitive distortion, where you feel that there's an illusion that you can control the game, you can try different mechanisms, different tactics, but still end up losing. So how do we know if someone is crossing the line from casual play to clinical addiction? So in my practice, I tell family that if they experience the feeling of kate, meaning that behavioral itch to do it over and over, no? And the red flags are actually clear na. It's the student who is constantly checking odds or under the desk during a lecture, or parang distracted, no? And perhaps yun na yung preoccupation niya the whole day. There's also this change it, compulsion to borrow, and already parang red flags of questionable purchases and questionable spending, and perhaps secrecy and different behaviors, like, and also mood swings relevant because of either, natatalo, nananalo. But most of the time, what I've seen is they're more depressed because, and more anxious because of the losses they need to catch up with. So in the Philippines, we have the damay. It's almost like a damay-damay effect. The family will always suffer. The trust will be broken because of chronic lying. There's also financial burden for parents to repay debts. And also, eventually, there's emotional toll of repeating circumstances that the family will eventually try to cover up for their son, daughter, father, sister. And so, going back to Mark, no, the truth always comes out, and eventually for him, it came out. His mother found out, no. Tinulungan siyang ipon, itubos yung mga sinanla niya. And eventually, nag-translate din ito sa grades niya. He had 3 major subjects, signifying delayed graduation also. The effect was so devastating. However, because of his parents' persistence, no, they sought consult. We enrolled him to a specific gambling therapy program. Nakahabol si Mark. But this is a story that end good, no? Mark is already parang bounced back and already understood the negative effects of gambling. But how about the others, right? So what we need to understand is we need to prevent this. So as a doctor, what should we do? And what's the prescription here for the general public who has no problem with this yet, or who is entering a problematic state pa lang if you're also playing? So it starts with prevention strategies. No, always remember to have strict financial hygiene. So if you're tempted, never link the account that holds your tuition fee or your ipon. And there's also, second, the practice a 24-hour rule. No, when you feel craving, no, recognize that it will fade, no, and perhaps what you can do is that when you're tempted to play again, you set aside at least 24 hours, no, palipasin ninyo yung cravings. And finally, know your emotional triggers as well. Are you betting because you're bored or because you're stressed about midterms? You find a healthier way to cope up with your stress. So also, what you can do is find a peer, find a trusted person to help you with your recovery journey if you've experienced problematic gambling already. No, don't enable your classmates if you're the one being confided to. No, and also as mentioned kanina, you always challenge gambling myths, no, and provide private support to your classmates if they ano to confess to you. What's important is hindi mo naman kailangan buhatin yon as a friend, but also connect them to a professional who can help. So as we end, it has been, as mentioned, our current landscape is changed, no? And what we need to do is be more vigilant, be more radical into addressing the misinformation about gambling, understand that gambling is not for you and definitely not on your side. So it's meant to extract money and is actually meant to produce addiction when treated like, you know, a hobby or a life support or a lifeline. So a challenge is to protect your mind by preventing yourself from engaging in gambling, protect your future, and make that decision today. You know, if you're actually here with also with already symptoms of problematic gambling, seek help, and that's very fine, and that's the best thing you can do for yourself right now. So with that, thank you for listening and thank you everyone. Salamat po sa invitation na ito. I hope I shared a bit of my experience with gambling disorder to you and I hope you've learned po. Salamat and thank you again for inviting me.